Doctors won't tell you what happens when you fast 16 hours a day, but your body will tell you. In 30 days, your cravings change. In 90, your fat melts. In 365, you are unrecognizable. This isn't a diet, it's a biological reset. Pay attention to this lesson before your body gives up on you. All right, let's start with this timeline on the amazing, incredible healing benefits that will happen inside of your body in the first 30 days of simply just fasting for 16 hours a day. The first thing you're gonna notice is that cravings rewire. At first, you'll feel hunger waves, not because your body needs food, but because your hormones are trained to expect it. You see, you have a hormone called ghrelin. Ghrelin is like a gremlin. When it's around, your stomach makes noise. It's not fun. It's like, get the hell out of here. You want food. You feel hungry. But here's the cool thing. All hormones, including the hunger hormone ghrelin, are pulsatile, meaning you've trained them to come out. You've trained ghrelin to come out around 9 a.m. when you usually eat breakfast, or 11 a.m. And when it comes around, it doesn't stick around for a very long time because all hormones go up and they come back down. That's what pulsatile means. So within weeks, your hunger hormone ghrelin begins to adjust. Sugar cravings weaken, and late night snacking urges, they fade away. And the amazing part is that you actually get comfortable with feeling hunger. It's actually an amazing discipline that you develop that actually transfers to other areas of your life. So this happens within those first 30 days. But that's not all. Here are some other amazing things that happen within the first 30 days. Visceral fat begins to shift. Look, visceral fat is the nasty fat around your organs. This is a very dangerous type of fat that is highly inflammatory. You see, this white fat wraps around your precious vital organs like your kidneys, your liver, your heart, your pancreas, and it accumulates over time. And when that happens, it applies pressure to these organs. So when that happens inside of the liver, it's called fatty liver disease, even non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. When that happens to the pancreas, it could lead to diabetes, insulin resistance. When that happens to the heart, it's heart disease. It's also not visually, aesthetically pleasing because it's the stomach fat. Anybody who has a big belly has visceral fat. And here's the thing. When you fast, you begin to lower insulin. Insulin is the only hormone in your body that signals store fat around your belly, store fat around your organs. So as you fast for 16 hours a day, during those 16 hours, hour after hour, insulin begins to drop, especially around that 14-hour mark. You pretty much have lowered insulin to the point where now you're starting to pull fat from your organs, pull fat from your belly. You essentially unlock stored energy, your body fat. And the reason why the first fuel source the body goes for is the visceral fat, there's a lot of calories there. There's a lot of energy there because it's loaded with fat. So you'll notice a huge difference in your visceral fat and belly fat within the 30 days. Now, there are some other benefits here. During the first 30 days, you're going to see tremendous improvements in your digestive health. Yeah, gut healing starts here. Going without food for 16 hours a day is a great reset for your digestive system. You know, it takes so much energy to digest food, a lot of blood flow, a lot of resources, a lot of bandwidth. Think about the last time you ate a huge meal. Maybe it was Thanksgiving or Christmas or some other holiday. Was your first thought, oh my gosh, I'm stuffed and I'm energized and focused. Let's go get some work done. Of course not. Your first thought was, where's the couch? Let's watch the game. I'm going to become a couch potato. I'm going to take a nap because it takes so much energy and resources to digest food. And so many people who have leaky gut, who have digestive issues like acid reflux, bloating, GERD, constipation, or even diarrhea, it's because they have never given their digestive system a break from food. It's like a corporate worker. Let's call her Sandra, who works 9 to 5 at a corporate job. And let's say she's clocking out at 5 p.m. She put in 8 hours of really intentional hard work. She's walking to her car, ready to drive home, relax, reset, repair. But she gets a phone call from her boss as she enters her car. Sandra, I hate to do this, but we just got this huge important project that just came in. I need you to come back to the office and work another 5 hours to complete that job. And let's say she does it, and it's now 10 p.m. at night. She's now very exhausted, ready to go home and just crash. And she gets the same phone call. Sandra, another project came in. We need you to come back into the office. If this happened to Sandra for days and weeks, she would not be able to function. She would have symptoms. She would be destroyed. This is the same thing that has happened to your digestive system when you have not practiced 16 hours of fasting. 16 hours of fasting every day is like giving Sandra 2 weeks off of work so she could recover, repair, and re-energize herself. So gas, bloating, acid reflux, constipation, these are huge things that become improved during the first 30 days. There's also something else called energy diversion. Since you're not using energy to digest that food, you're completing digestion around that 14-hour mark, there's now energy being diverted towards healing. It's one of my favorite benefits to a 16-hour daily fast. You see, within the first couple of weeks here, you're going to notice improved energy, focus, and mental clarity. This is really important for somebody who wants to stay focused and sharp, somebody who struggles with maybe brain fog. A lot of this will start to disappear. These symptoms will disappear just a couple weeks in because of this energy diversion process. You're now sending blood flow and resources and nutrients to the brain instead of the gut for digestion. Super cool. So all of those benefits are happening just within the first 30 days. Now let's discuss the first 90 days of fasting 16 hours a day. By 90 days, fat loss accelerates. I've seen people lose 40 to 50 pounds of body fat, extra weight, within those 90 days. See, now your metabolism has shifted gears. Your body now prefers fat as a fuel source over burning sugar, especially during your fasting window. The belly fat, the stubborn fat around your waist, the visceral fat, that starts melting away because your body is now producing ketones because you've lowered insulin enough to become metabolically flexible, which is the ultimate goal. And there's something else that happens here. Now your body has achieved deep healing through a process called autophagy, which is a cellular cleaning and detox process. Now, this autophagy process kicks in during your fast, but during the first 30 days, you might get some of it, but during those first 90 days, you've gotten a lot of this cellular cleanup. And this is how it works. It's like your refrigerator. When you open up your refrigerator, you see groceries that have expiration dates on them. What would happen if you let all your groceries expire and instead of throwing them into the trash, you buy new, fresh groceries and put them in front of the expired groceries and close that door and then come back the next morning, open up that refrigerator door? What are you going to see? That's going to be a toxic environment. Disease will manifest in that environment. Okay, autophagy, this cellular cleanup process, is the process of getting rid of these expired groceries because your human body is like this refrigerator. It has cells, mitochondria, proteins that have expiration dates on them. So for these first 90 days, you've cleaned out a lot of these old damaged cells that are not burning fat efficiently, cells that are stuck burning sugar, cells that are inflammatory. So it's cleaning out the house here, all the junk inside of your body. Super cool. This is why people report less joint pain, faster recovery, and even clearer skin around that 3-month mark. At this point, you've achieved metabolic flexibility. This is your metabolism now. It's able to burn fat during your fast and produce ketones, which are anti-inflammatory. They support mitochondrial function. They increase your metabolism's ability to burn fat. And then during your eating window, you could burn sugar through the food you eat. That is the goal. Metabolic flexibility. So many people who are overweight have insulin resistance. They're sugar burners. They're metabolically challenged. They're in a metabolic prison. By day 90, you now have achieved what I call metabolic freedom. But that's not all. By day 90, there's a hormone boost, especially in the hormone human growth hormone. Human growth hormone is an anti-aging hormone. It's a fat loss hormone. It's a muscle preserving and muscle building hormone. It's such an effective hormone that many wealthy people, many celebrities pay thousands of dollars every month to their doctor for their doctor to inject human growth hormone into them because they feel it. They notice a difference. More energy, more fat loss, youthful skin. Now here's the issue. When you get it injected, your body stops producing as much because you're taking it from an external source, what's called exogenous source. But through fasting, 16 hours a day for 90 days, there's a huge surge in human growth hormone that your body produces. There could be a 4 to 5 times increase in sensitivity to that hormone by day 90. So that means more fat loss, more muscle preservation, and anti-aging benefits. Men notice better testosterone balance. Women often report less PMF symptoms or even improved in their cycle regularity, or even postmenopausal women report more fat loss as well. And lastly, on day 90, before we get to what happens at 365 days, is an immune system improvement, autoimmune and inflammation. So there are hundreds of millions of people that have an autoimmune condition. Whether you are diagnosed with it or not, many people are going and walking around with undiagnosed autoimmune. There are 100 autoimmune diseases out there with an additional 40 connected to them. I'll give you a few of the most common. We have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, we have arthritis, we have psoriasis, we have Raynaud's syndrome, which is something I have. So there's so many autoimmune conditions out there. And here's the cool thing. By day 90, you will notice huge improvements in those autoimmune symptoms. Less joint pain, less autoimmune flare-ups. Your blood markers of inflammation and autoimmune markers also will see improvements by day 90. This is because fasting calms the immune system. It reduces inflammatory cytokines. It removes the interference because fasting, I believe, is nature's reset button. Fasting is one of the best ways to harness this innate intelligence within your body, this inner physician. And when you fast, your body is so smart. You see, you were hardwired for the old school. There's nothing new about fasting. It's just nuanced or new to some people. Fasting has been around for as long as humans have existed. Every single religion practices some form of fasting. And here's what happens. When you're in this 16-hour fast, your body thinks, whoa, there's no food coming in. We haven't eaten in 15, 16 hours. We need to stay alive. We're going through a famine. You see, it can't comprehend. It doesn't know that you're doing this for health benefits and to burn fat. It automatically is hardwired to go through this process, and it thinks you're going through a famine. It doesn't care about your phone, clicking Uber Eats on your phone and having somebody knock on your door in 45 minutes with food. It doesn't understand that. It doesn't know you could walk to your fridge and get food. It automatically goes through this process. So what it does, it pumps you full of energy. It's called your counter-regulatory system. So you feel so energized and alert. But what it does for your inflammation and your cells is that it starts getting rid of these autoimmune cells, these senescent cells, these cells that are causing your symptoms. And it's so smart, the human body, that it gets rid of a cell, but it doesn't just stop there. It then sends a signal for a new cell, which is a stem cell that replaces that autoimmune cell. So you feel better. It could be for the eyes, the kidney, the liver, like this innate intelligence, inner physician, will determine where that new cell goes. And all this is happening just because you're not eating for 16 hours a day. All right, now we need to get into what happens after a year of doing this. This is gonna blow your mind. Check this out. You will have a completely different body by day 365. After one full year, your body composition is dramatically different. Visceral fat around your liver and pancreas is completely slashed out. That alone restores insulin sensitivity and protects you from type 2 diabetes, or if you had type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance, that's completely gone by day 365. You've now hit your goal weight, your muscle mass is preserved, you feel amazing, everybody's asking you how you did it, and you're gonna share this lesson with them. And here's the cool thing, you now have a younger immune system. You see, that autophagy process I spoke about earlier, the cycles of autophagy you've been getting has now remodeled your entire immune system. So old dysfunctional cells have been cleared out and replaced with stronger ones. That's why fasting has been studied for autoimmune conditions, Alzheimer's, and even cancer prevention. Your brain also gets a huge upgrade at this time. A year of fasting means you've achieved a tremendous amount of something called BDNF. BDNF is brain-derived neurotropic factor. It's like miracle grow for the brain. It helps you become more creative, more focused, more alert. You'll start getting this during the first 30 days, the first 90 days, but by day 365, your brain is now flooded with BDNF. So you're happier, you're healthier, you're more focused, you're energized, you're more productive, and that's gonna be great for work, for family, for anything that you do. And by day 365, you are now metabolically free. You're metabolically flexible. You've broken free from yo-yo dieting and food cravings and all the things that used to set you back. You are now living a life of abundance and health and true vitality. The mirror will now reflect a stronger, leaner version of yourself, a healthier body. You'll be stronger mentally, and everybody's gonna be asking you, how did you do it? Now, okay, I know you have a lot of questions here, so I'm gonna go through some questions you've submitted on this topic for days 30, days 90, and days 365. Before I do, I wanna share something with you that's really, really important. I'm gonna be hosting a live fat loss training where I'll go even deeper into different fasting schedules. I just gave you one schedule here, 16 hours, but what if you had changed it up with 24 hours, 36 hours? I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you the best foods to eat for fat loss, the worst foods that slow fat loss. It's an entire masterclass on how to get the best, fastest results you've ever achieved in your life. And this is not recorded. It's me live. And I'm going to be answering some questions on this live masterclass. This works better than dieting, calorie counting, Ozempic. All you need to do is scan the QR code on the screen for those watching on YouTube, or head over to meltyourfat.com or click the first link in the description box below to reserve your free spot. I'm excited to see you there. Now let's get to your questions. Day 30 questions. Will I lose muscle if I fast 16 hours a day or just fat? Ooh, your body is very, very smart, and it'll raise human growth hormone, like I mentioned earlier, which preserves lean muscle. So you're losing fat, not muscle. This is a really important question because there's a big difference between losing weight and losing fat. Ozempic, you lose weight, which includes fat and muscle. This strategy, you lose weight, but it's all fat, no muscle. What should I drink during the 16-hour fast? Is coffee, tea, or sparkling water okay? Coffee, tea, sparkling water. Okay, tea and sparkling water are fine as long as they're not sweetened. Coffee, if it's black and a high-quality coffee source, that's also fine. But if you add sweeteners to it, that may break the fast. My go-to coffee is Purity Coffee. You could get them over at ketocampcoffee.com. Use the coupon code KETOCAMP for 15% off. Will fasting 16 hours slow down my metabolism over time? No, especially if you're eating high-quality, protein-rich foods during your eating window, because your body is very smart. It'll raise what I explained earlier, those counter-regulatory hormones, which prevents a slowdown in metabolism. How do I deal with hunger or dizziness during the first couple of weeks? Stay hydrated, keep your electrolytes up, and make sure you're not doing too much exercise or high-intensity activity during those first 2 weeks. Does intermittent fasting work if I don't follow a low-carb or keto diet? Yes. Now, if you did a low-carb keto diet, you'll get even more results, but if you don't do that, you'll still get results. That's the cool thing about fasting. It plugs into any dietary philosophy that you follow. 90-day questions. How do I know if my body's actually going into autophagy? Well, the most accurate way is to go into a lab and they test a protein called the LC3A protein. You're not going to do that. Second best way is to grab a machine like the Keto Mojo. It's a finger prick where you prick your finger, draws a little blood, put the blood into a glucose strip, it gives you a reading, put the blood into a ketone strip, it gives you a reading. If your ketones are 0.5 or higher and your glucose is under, let's say, 100 milligrams per deciliter, to me, that's signaling autophagy. So you could get that Keto Mojo over at ketocampmachine.com. Can fasting help with stubborn belly fat specifically, or just overall fat? All of it. I mentioned it earlier. It's the belly fat, it's the visceral fat, it's the overall fat. Fasting is like the Swiss Army knife of fat loss. It really is. Now let's get to your 365-day questions. Is fasting every single day for a year safe, or should I take breaks? It's safe for 16 hours daily as long as you're getting enough high-quality protein and nutrients during your eating window. So you have 8 hours to eat 2 or 3 meals. Let's map this out and what this would look like on your calendar. Let's say you decide to skip breakfast and have just lunch and dinner. Then your eating window is going to be between 12 and 8 p.m. or 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's 8 hours. So you could have your first meal at either 10 a.m. or noon, second meal, let's say at 3 p.m., last meal at either 6 or 8 p.m. And you want to make sure you're getting enough high quality protein and nutrients. As long as you do that, you're going to be fine. And I'll be talking more about that on my fat loss masterclass. So go to meltyourfat.com to learn more. Can intermittent fasting help reverse type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes completely? It can for a lot of people. I've used it on hundreds of diabetics and pre-diabetics pretty efficiently. So yes, the answer is yes. When done right, it is such a valuable tool for these conditions. After a year of fasting, do I need to keep going forever to maintain the benefits? Then it becomes a game where you change things up. And I'll be teaching this on the webinar, but there'll be days where you don't fast. There'll be days where you do longer fast. The name of the game here is to keep changing things up. Or if you want to continue that 16-hour daily fast because you've developed that discipline, that's fine too. The point is you have options here. You don't have to be rigid unless you really like the routine and you want to stick with it. That's totally fine. I hope this is valuable. Share this with somebody you know. Get signed up for my masterclass. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And by the way, so many people think, especially doctors, that obesity is caused by sugar. Actually, the real cause is something else. And I just published a lesson all about this topic. Here's a clip from this keynote I did. Click the video on the screen, and I'll see you in that next lesson. And what's interesting about that amount of healthcare spend, 4.6 trillion, 1 out of every $4 is spent on diabetes, primarily type 2, which is 100% preventable and 100% reversible. And get this,
Only 2 countries in the entire world allow pharmaceutical companies to advertise on TV.